U.S. Air Force Academy and was a commander of the B-2 Stealth Bomber Test Squadron. His voice, leadership, and passion for America are desperately missing from the Nevada landscape. Let's welcome Tony. Tony, come on up.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here tonight because all of you are my people. Why are all of you my people? Because about 40 years ago, I raised my hand and swore to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Right.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
There you go.
So tonight, I'm going to talk about three things. Let's see, how can I talk about three things when I have 4 children? Anyway, I'm going to talk about 3 things. I'm going to talk to you about where I stand. I'm going to talk to you about what I've done, although I can probably eliminate that. And then I'm going to talk to you about what I'm going to do, because that's most important. Where do I stand? I am a constitutional originalist. Fancy words for the fact that the original words in the Constitution retain their original meaning.
Right.
And do not change over time. For this purpose, to protect things like our God-given rights of free speech, our Second Amendment rights to bear arms uninfringed, shall not be infringed. That means not infringed. And how about freedom of religion?
Yes. There you go.
So, I believe in the family. We need to keep the family intact. We need to protect the family to keep it from being overtaxed. We need to solve the problems for the family so that it can flourish. Why? Because strong families make strong communities. Strong communities make strong cities. Strong cities make strong states. And we have a great state here that needs some help. So, I also believe in individual responsibility. We are free citizens. We are responsible for our actions. We are free to make our own choices. We are free not to be coerced by government. So those are the things that I stand on. So what I've done, you heard that I was the commander of the B-2 Test Squadron. What you might not know is that I graduated from the Air Force Academy, and then I served for 20 years as a proud veteran. And in that time, when I was the commander of the B-2 Test Squadron, that was a $24 billion test program where I was responsible to manage cost, schedule, and performance. So some people are saying that pilots don't know anything about business. I'll just tell you that we worked with multiple companies, and we had to understand business. We had to understand cost plus contracts. We had to understand incentives. We had to understand if the businesses were going to be viable if they entered into a relationship with the government. So I understand business. That's not a problem. The other thing that I'm very proud of is that I raised 4 children. That's all the parents that are in here? So I have 4 children, and 1 graduated from West Point, 1 graduated from Annapolis. Yes, I can dote over my children, but that's not the reason that I'm mentioning this. I'm mentioning this for the reason of this. I've done the hard work to raise children So I know how to help children become successful adults. And that'll be important in a little bit. The last thing I did that is near and dear to all of your hearts, I was the director of flight operations for the National Championship Reno Air Races.
Right. Wow.
I worked at the, I got sucked into, I worked at the air races for 4 years. And the last 2 years, I was the director of flight ops. We canceled last year, so we did a whole lot of hurry up and stop. But this year, we had a very safe and successful air races. So I understand why that's important, because it takes people from all over the world to make the air races work. And it's a huge draw for tourists. And so why is that important? Because this is what I'm going to do. There are 5 statutory requirements for the lieutenant governor. Tourism, transportation, economic development, government audit, and continuity of government in the event of a disaster. With Nevada ranking, now that I've heard tonight, 51st in pre-K through 12, that does not bode well for the future of tourism or economic development. Businesses need an educated workforce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to intimately know what businesses need in terms of their workforce, and I'm going to use that knowledge to influence the educators to do some things. 3 of them. Replace teaching critical race theory with civics, American civics. Get back to the foundational basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Right.
And also reintroduce competition into the schools, because competition produces excellence.
Right.
And we need excellence. But there's other things. There's tourism. I mentioned the air races, but Nevada is a beautiful state. Some people might say, well, Tony, you've only been here 6 years. You don't know Nevada. Well, you know, as a military man, I had the opportunity to live all over the country. I've been all around the world. And for some of you who know my background, I even grew up a little bit outside the United States and got to view it from the outside and look at some other countries. Even a beautiful country like Switzerland, one of my favorite. Bar none. We have a great state here with great landscape. We have beautiful Lake Tahoe. We have trails that you can climb, ATVs. There's things in Nevada that we can do. So we're coming out of COVID. We have an opportunity here as we recover our economy to tell the world that Nevada is open. And what I will do, being the salesman for the state, is invite people from all over the world to come and vacation in Nevada. And once they come, they'll love it. So what else am I going to do? Well, we have to get back to that education bugaboo. And now I'm thinking out of the box. And some people might say that you can't do this, but you don't know until you try. What if we indexed the salaries of those superintendents and assistant superintendents to how the schools perform nationally? What if we incentivize teachers that if their students improve nationally, they get bonuses? What if we take those students and as they improve, we give them graduated scholarships? One thing that I would do in the classroom that's done in Sweden, they have a teacher that teaches a lesson, and then they have the assistant. And the job of the assistant is to help the slower students first, and then to go keep the brighter students engaged. How come we don't make that part of our student teaching curriculum. Yes, there's things out of the box that I'm ready to think about. So I want to be your lieutenant governor because of this. I have proven, principled leadership. I have vision. I have commitment to success. But I'll tell you one thing that I'm not like Gary. Send all your money here and send it to me before you send it to Monica, because I helped her raise money.
I did support you. Fighting words, fighting words. I still love you, Tim.
See, I can say that because afterwards I'll tell you that I'm up here because it's all Monica's fault. But the reality is this. I got to raise about 1.1 million because I'm in a state race. And you guys know me, and you know, you've heard me speak. I'm passionate about this. But if I don't get my message out, the rest of Nevada will not know. Everybody I've talked to has resonated with my message because it's an American message. But I got to get my message out. So, if you can't send money, send it anyway. Go to TonyGradyForNevada.com, and what I want you to do there, on a serious note, actually, let me take a little deviation here. I don't have a lot of money now, but I've been at this. I've been at this since the second week of October, so unlike Monica, I haven't been at it. One of the first checks I got was for $26. It was from the mother, who's 92, of the young lady who's a woman now, I think. Anyway, who was my secretary when I was sophomore class president. Because Mrs. Drake wanted to send it to me because she knows my character. The highest first donation that I got was for $3,000. It was from a gentleman I flew with FedEx. His wife had stage 4 cancer. This campaign gave me an opportunity to reconnect with him. So his wife had passed away, but he heard I was running and we talked for a couple of hours. He said, "You really need to do this." Then this $3,000 check shows up. He's a single dad raising 2 girls, 10-year-old special needs, and then a 16-year-old. For those 2 donations, I'm here in the race till they kick me out. So, I do need your money, but more importantly than that, when you go to TonyGradyForNevada.com, I want you all to sign up on Stay Informed, because that's my newsletter, and you'll know what I'm doing. And then, if you're so inclined, or your friends are inclined, or you have kids that have too much time on their hand, press the volunteer button and get them signed up, and I guarantee you I will keep them busy. So thank you very much for having me here tonight, and it was my pleasure to speak with you.
Okay, Tony, thank you very much.